Let me turn this up. Turn this down. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Funky Friday on the show. Did I get down to a good level for once? I think I did. It's very light and airy and funky. Good morning. I got the my grandpa cup out again because this weekend is my granddaughter's first birthday. We're excited. We're going to have a little party at the house this weekend. I'm excited about that. It's crazy. It seems that that just happened like such a short time ago. And baby girl's already going to be a year old. She's this close to walking, too. She's able to pull herself up and hold herself up and holding on to things, her hands and stuff, and move around. So, oh boy. My daughter and wonderful son-in-law are in for a treat when that starts happening. But anyway, so we're going to celebrate that. And I'm going to talk today a lot about these hearings on the weaponization of the federal government and federal agencies against the American people, particularly if they don't buy into certain narratives and get off the path that the Democrats and the rest of the Uniparty want them to be on at all times. You may not stray from the narrative. These assholes. Anyway, oh my gosh, I swear really early. Well, it wasn't 7 seconds in, so I'm okay. Anyway, so that's the theme today. The First Amendment, things that people say, the government doesn't want them to say. Oh yeah, they're still yapping about Tucker Carlson too. So we'll get into as much as we can on this funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. How about we stop that music and play the intro. Johnny?
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
All right, you know what? I think I got to get back into that prior jam though. So, because it's Funky Friday on the Morning Night Live. Hello, people. My name is Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. It is Friday, the 10th of March, 2023. I think one of my other friends has a birthday today. Oh my gosh, I think I missed one of my friend's birthdays. I'm embarrassed. Anyway, I'll call him today. But anyway, I am here, raring to go. Got my cup of reparations in the Grandpa Cup. I already showed you this one right here. Grandpa established 2022. Well, it's 2023. Baby girl's about to be a year old. And we're going to have a nice little birthday party for her. Just a little family stuff going on, and that's good. But anyway, let's get into the show. I'll turn it down just a little bit while I do the intros, and then we're going to start. Then we'll get into the show. That should be a little better. How's that sound? Is that good? Is that a good music level? This is kind of a jam. I like this. Anyway, let's say good morning. But before we do, hold up. Hey. First sponsor of the day, Gunfox 61 and Gunfox 61. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir, for sponsoring the show. With a big 10 spot, a Hamilton dropped into the tip jar. He is the leading sponsor of the show. And he gave me a link to something that I'm going to open. Oh boy. Oh, what? No, I want this over here. Oh, good Lord. Okay, I see what you sent me here. Well, I'll make a note of this. Because some people are complaining about the national anthem again. But anyway, Gunfox says, these commie bastards should get fed to the wood chipper feet first. If they don't like it, too bad. Go suck start a shotgun for all I care, and only in Minecraft, of course. Oh yes, wood chipper mod coming soon to Minecraft. So yeah, well, let's just go ahead and show him what he's concerned about here. Let's just stop the music for a second, because he gave me this article about our national anthem, and someone named William St. Val's upset. The American anthem, the only national anthem with the word slave in it. Okay, so he's going to go on a diatribe about the third verse of the American national anthem, which is a poem written by Francis Scott Key. And maybe if someone had opened a history book, we'd understand the context of what Francis Scott Key wrote. But let's go ahead and read this article and see how, because this is an argument a lot of people are making. Oh, yeah, and I'll say good morning everybody in a minute, but let's go ahead and do this real quick. The controversies surrounding the American anthem, history, and debate. The United States national anthem has been a single symbol of American pride and patriotism for over 2 centuries. However, the song's history is not without controversy, mainly due to the word slave in the song. Did you know the national anthem had the word slave in it? Yes, it's in the third verse. There are currently 195 independent countries in the world recognized by the United Nations. Okay, and irrelevant, and each typically has its own national anthem. Some countries even have more than one official anthem or none at all. However, as it stands today, the Star-Spangled Banner is the only national anthem in the world that contains the word slave in it, as if slave is a cuss word. I'm sorry. We're gonna put it in context in a minute. In it, because there's a line in it that says, "No refuge could save the hireling and slave." Okay. Now, in what context is Key using slave in the Star-Spangled Banner? The use of the word slave in the national anthem has been subject to debate and controversy for many years, and scholars can't agree on what context Francis Scott Key used the word in the song. Again, when I hear the word slave, even though I know the context precisely because I've studied the subject before. Okay, we'll get to it, but and look. Slave's a word that is in historical context and the word slave doesn't mean black people. I know that people believe that slave means black people because as if only black people were slaves ever in the entire history of the world, but that's not the case. It's obviously an ugly part of history that almost every human group on the planet has probably experienced at one time or another. We just happen to be the most recent, and also one of the first few countries to abandon the legal legal status of slavery. Okay. Anyway, some scholars and historians argue the Key was referring to the slaves who were promised freedom by the British if they fought against the Americans. Others suggest he was referring to the mercenaries who were being paid to fight alongside British soldiers. Now, if you don't know what a hireling is, one of the ironic, I guess, twist of this whole hireling and slave thing is hirelings were the mercenaries, and sometimes they also kidnap people and force them to fight on behalf of certain, entities, whether it was the British or the Spanish, whatever, which were basically just a forced way of getting people to fight for you, right? Which could be considered slave. And whether Scott meant the slaves who were promised freedom by the British, or whether he meant the others who were forced to fight for the British, I don't think it's relevant. It's not like there weren't also slaves and or black people fighting against the British in the War of 1812 when he wrote the song. Here it is. Here's one quote. Nonetheless, Francis Scott Key owned slaves. Okay, and that was a practice at the time. I don't know how that matters. And it's more plausible he was referring to people in bondage, since mercenaries are paid and slaves, as it stood then, were property and did not get paid. Okay, but it wasn't just the mercenaries who were fighting. There are also there was a word. What's the name for it? There's a word for this. Not indentured. Someone will come up with the word, and I'm not. Let's see. I'll go down the chat here. Maybe someone's already said it. It's called impressment. Impress soldiers. Thank you, Advocatus Diaboli. Those also were not people who were fighting for the British that were not paid. They were forced to fight for the British on their ships. Anyway, regardless of the original intent, the controversy surrounding the inclusion of the word highlights America's ongoing struggle with its past and its difficulty addressing the legacy of slavery, oppression, and systemic racism. Oh, okay. Well, maybe we taught history a little more and try to understand that look, thank God there's no longer slavery, right? We can see it as the awful thing it was, or we can see that, this country was one of the first few countries to outlaw it. So, especially someone who has relatives in my family who were slaves in the past, knowing that fact, my great-grandfather, my grandmother's father, was born a slave, and one of her grandmothers was born a slave. So should I be upset about that now, living my life the way I am now? I don't know. I don't get it. I'm not a slave, and I never will be. And I will fight to the death anyone who tries to bring that institution back in this country. But there's no one out. Okay. Just take this with a grain of salt. I'm pretty sure there's not a single person in the United States who seriously has thought about bringing back the institution of slavery. But I get told there are people who say that all the time. I have no idea who these people are who think that the institution of slavery should be brought back. So the fact that this word is in the Star Spangled Banner, I guess I don't care. I just don't. I've tried to care, but I don't. As a black man living in America, I'm going to use that phrase one time. If there's a black man living in America, I don't give a shit. It's whatever. So anyway, it goes on. Many have called for the removal of the word from the Star Spangled Banner, arguing that it is inappropriate to include a reference to slavery in the national anthem. Others argue that it should remain as a reminder of the country's past. I'm in the latter category. In recent years, the controversy surrounding the Star Spangled Banner has led to calls for a new national anthem and that better reflects modern America. Some have suggested alternative songs like America the Beautiful or Lift Every Voice and Sing as possible replacements for the anthem. This, however, has angered many who see it as a woke attack on a beloved symbol of America. Okay, anyway, so thank you, GunFox61, for raising my blood pressure this morning. I greatly appreciate it, as you always do. I'll have that article in the links at the end of the show. By the way, everything we talk about today will be in a link in the end of the show, the one-tab link in the second paragraph of the description in both Rumble and YouTube. Speaking of which, let's say hi to the people who are here on Rumble and YouTube, and I want my funk back. Let's go. Over on Rumble, first in the chat today is our friend Advocatus Diaboli, who gets the bell. Thank you, sir, for being here. Also, good morning to Mike Savage, Blarg. Simon Wolfwood's in the house. Sully209. Isn't that... I know who Sully is. I always forget. Is that Hig? I can't remember who Sully is. Someone else who has a different name somewhere else. Also, TC's in the house and Jimmy Das Hotep. Now on YouTube, first in the chat, also Advocatus Diaboli, who gets the bell. And for the last time, I'm going to give the second the bell because I thought, Advocatus Diaboli works very hard to be here first many days and is very successful at it. And why should I give a participation trophy? But I'm not going to count it as a participation trophy day because sometimes it's a feat just to get in right behind Advocatus Diaboli, which Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost did. So you also get a bell today. Thank you, Tyre Alexander, aka Dr. Funkenstein's Ghost. Also, good morning, Chicago Mike, Tyler F., Somnambul Nation, HP Lovecraft, Simon Wolfwood is in the house. Also, Lord Stanhope's here. Good morning also, too, as I scroll down. Rotten Corpse is in the house. Did I say Lord Stanhope already? Well, I'm saying it now. Yes, I did. I said it earlier. Let's see, who else? Rick Ashbringer's in the house. James Colley, happy flipping Friday, he says. Welcome to Boomer Vision. Yes, Boomer Vision. Also, hello. Wait a minute, that's it? I could have sworn I already said Chicago Mike. I did. Mike's way up there. Also, Trippy Liberty's in the house. What's up, the man? Is that everybody? No, James Colley. There's Trippy Liberty. There's TC's also on YouTube. John Arnott, what's up? Good morning, Gulf City. DCC 182, aka Blink. Oh, happy birthday, Blink. What's up? Yes, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Blink. Happy birthday to you. It was yesterday, but that's close enough. Hitting the big 4-0. Congratulations, sir. Also, good morning, Adel in Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
Also, good morning, Gunfox 61. Already trying to raise my blood pressure this morning. Good morning, Infamous One. Donkey Punch Bandit. Oh my gosh. Nice to see you back. I get a kick out of that name. I'll say it right now. Uncle Bad Touch is also here. We know who you really are, Uncle Bad Touch.
Come on, man.
Also, good morning, Zablay. Zablay is back. What's up? Nice to see you. Let's see. Am I missing anybody yet? Okay. Man, there's a lot of people I haven't seen for a while in here. I love to see it. Crack Shots in the house. And who else? Is that everybody? Am I close? I think so. Oh, Select the Boys in the house.
Yeah, boy.
And I think I'm. Oh my gosh, a whole bunch of people are here. Tex AG 007 is in the house. Woodcutter's here. Nice to see you. And I think I got just about everybody. Wait, 40 makes you feel young? Damn, wait till you find out how old I am. My birthday's coming up in 4 weeks? It's April 4th. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to make you feel really young. Okay. And Gunfox61, thank you for sponsoring the show and get another Hamilton in the tip jar. Now, what are you sending me now? What the damn hell is this? Oh, no. What is this? Okay, so good Lord. What is this? Alaska. I'm never going to get into my show if I keep doing this, but I'm going to keep doing it because you have to take the time to find shit for me. Alaska prepares for Biden to deny Willow Project. This is the end of oil in America. Oh, good God. What is this? All right, let me pause the music here. Alaska prepares for Biden to deny Willow Project. Alaska labor and political leaders plead with President Biden to approve America's largest pending oil and gas project in his final deciding moments. The state governor revealed he's expecting the White House to turn it down. We're preparing for them to deny this, Governor Mike Dunleavy said on Cavuto's Coast to Coast Tuesday, and it's sad to say that, but their idea of a compromise apparently is to allow only 2 drilling pads for this oil play called Willow, about 180,000 barrels per day at peak, instead of the 3 or more that really the investors, ConocoPhillips, need to have to make this thing work for everybody. The Willow Project, currently the largest pending oil and gas plant in the United States, is a proposal by ConocoPhillips to develop energy resources in a small portion of what's known as the National Petroleum Reserve, Alaska, on Alaska's North Slope. The Alaska's AFL-CIO labor union president pointed out on Fox and Friends First earlier that decades worth of oil is available in Alaska, noting Willow creates approximately 2,500 construction jobs. Estimates also show that between $8 to $17 billion of potential federal revenue would be generated. Oh, no, see, you don't want to, let's see, unless it's, what's that word they use for the investment? Anyway, unless it's green energy, we don't care if it brings in tax dollars because, Joe Biden is going to reduce the deficit by by $2 trillion over the next 10 years. Everybody believes that, right? Yes, he is a clown. Anyway, they continue. It's an unfortunate game that's being played between the White House, the extremists, and the environmentalists that got in there. And unfortunately, the people of Alaska in this country, we're preparing, hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. Currently, Alaska pumps out about 500 barrels of oil per day, according to the governor, but he expressed fears that the likely Willow disapproval will set a precedent for future drilling opportunities. Yeah, man. It would be great if you could just snap your fingers and make all this clean energy appear out of thin air, and all of a sudden all those electric cars, the power grid had enough for everyone in America to have an electric car. But that's not the case. Oh my God, these people piss me off. Thank you, Gun Fox. Appreciate it. That's a great article too. Anyway, let's watch that. I want to watch that to see what happens. Apparently that decision is supposed to happen. I think, is it by the end of the next week? What did it say here? This final deciding moments. Let's see what this says here. This is the accompanying article that they linked.
The Willow oil project there is the largest pending oil and gas project.
Okay, well, here, he'll tell you about it.
Will the president approve it? Mike Dunleavy. No, I got it wrong. Dunleavy, right?
Yes, sir.
Mike Dunleavy is the governor of Alaska, and he joins me now. Do you expect President Biden to kill it? And if he does, what's the impact on the supply of oil and on Alaska?
I hope he doesn't. There's rumors that they're trying to cut some deal that would, in fact, kill this project. It needs more than 2 pads. We're looking at 5 pads for that particular field to make it economical for the investors, ConocoPhillips.
A pad is just a drilling station,
That's correct. Right. And they're talking about just doing 2
and
or
is
less.
This
if it's 2 or less, that project is probably dead because it's not going to be economical for the investors. And that's going to mean upwards of 180,000 barrels a day for many, many years offline for Alaska and Americans.
I would expect him not to approve it because he's a very green president.
That's correct. I think he's, being held hostage by eco-terrorists and extreme environmentalists.
Okay, this is a reason. I'm not going to play the rest of this. It's the reason why you need to vote. I don't know what he's supposed to decide on this, but Alaska's bipartisan delegation to Congress, Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan, plus Democratic Representative Mary Patola, met with the president last week and emphasized their support of the project. So even that Democrat that they snuck in there because they really, 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 really didn't want Sarah Palin to be the representative from Alaska, even that Democrat representative says, hey, this project in Alaska, could help the United States a little bit and you get a little tax revenue and, it's good for Alaska and you don't stop messing with us. You know what? This is why in 2 years, this guy's got to go. Or not, well, it won't be this guy. I don't think it'll be this guy right here. I do not think it'll be this guy right here in 24 running for the president, but we cannot have anyone with a D behind their name because they keep fucking with the energy supply. Sorry, don't want you. Get out. All right, real quick. Thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show. I got you here. Who says, I'm in favor. He has a suggestion for the new national anthem. He's saying, I'm in favor. Oh, wait. Funky. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Dropping a 556, a.k.a. a big bullet, in the tip jar. Says, I'm in favor of having Freebird by Leonard Skinner as our national anthem. Okay, I hear you. Okay, here's the thought of the day, and here's I want you in the chat. I want you to come up with songs, modern songs, between let's say in the last 50 years, because if you remember, the 70s were 50 years ago. Oh my God, the 70s were 50 years ago. Anyway. Come up with a modern song that you think should be our new national anthem. I'm waiting. I think, and I'm going to start with what I'm going to just put in the chat. Bam! There it is. That's the one I think. Baby got back. Oakland face with the LA booty. Or no. LA face with an Oakland booty. I got that backwards. Anyway, I don't need that LA booty because it's a bunch of Hollywood Barbie doll types. Anyway, thank you. Thank you again, Chicago Mike. Also, good morning to my favorite Canadian, Jaeger Ponies in the house. What's up? Wait a minute. There you go. Also, did I say Infamous One already? I think I did. If not, good morning, Infamous One. Good to see you. And Spud Guns in the house. What's up? 17 minutes back, slave appears in the British national anthem. Britons never shall be slaves. So the premise of the article is horse hockey. Oh, I had no idea. I had no idea that the British national anthem also has the word slaves in it. So, hey, writer of that stupid article, William St. Val. Let's see if anyone made that comment. Comments. Okay, I'm gonna steal this. Slave appears in the British national anthem. Here, let's. The word slave is not bad. The word back in that time. Okay, whatever. There, slave. I'm not gonna say horse hockey. I'll just say the premise of the article. The article is false. But of course, it's all the white countries that have slave in the national anthem, of course. Oh, I have to sign in? Oh my God. I don't want it. Well, here. I'll use one of my alternative accounts here. Oh, no, we'll stick with this one. We'll use this one. Okay, there you go. There we go. Slave appears in the British national anthem. Britons never shall be slaves. Okay, got it. There we go. There we go. Thank you. Who said that? That was Spud Gun. All right, thank you for Spud Gun. Also, good morning to Jeff Overturf, and GDSOB. All right. Here, stop the music. Let's just stop the music. Can I talk about what I'm going to talk about now? Anyway. No, and by the way, I absolutely appreciate Gun Fox. You're always, in fact, y'all, if you got an article you want me to read, Spud Gun knows how to get me to read something. All right. Hey, let me do a couple thank yous real quick. Thank you to Somnambule Nation and Simon Wolfwood, Tyler F. Let's see, TC. I said Somnambule Nation. All of you who have tweeted out the show today. Remember, the Morning Light Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Light Live. If you would be so kind, during the show, I would help that you would like the show enough that you would click that little thumbs up underneath the description in both YouTube and Rumble. Hit the likes up there. Also, sharing the show is the greatest thing. Sharing is caring. Sharing is shows how much you love the concept of this particular program, and your friends will love you for it because you'll turn them on to someone really, really emotionally uplifting like me, and they'll appreciate it. So share this stream out with everyone you know. Hopefully we'll get this channel up to 10,000 subscribers, or the Rumble channel even up to 1,000. That would be cool too. And if you want to sponsor the show, like GunFox61, like Chicago Mike, like the superstar sponsors who sponsor the show, you can do that at pdognight.live. That's how you get on the superstar sponsor list, okay? That's superstar sponsors at pdognight.live. That's the Streamlabs links. But you can also contribute to the show through YouTube Super Chats, through Venmo, through Cash App. That's all in the description down below. Thanks for those of you who have been great supporters of the show. All right, let's get into it, okay? Now, first, let's talk about some things that are trending. International Women's Day is still trending. I believe it was yesterday, right? Was it International Women's Day yesterday, or was it the day before? Anyway, it's still trending, and I think part of the reason it's still trending, and this is fascinating, okay? Because I didn't talk about this yesterday. The Biden administration gave out some awards to some very, very special women yesterday, and one of them was this particular person, Jill Biden, and the Democrats' continued effort to normalize and shove transgenderism down our throats as part of the left's attempt to reshape society with their relentless war on objective truths. Yes, they gave a courage award to this person of male origins. Let's just put it that way. And so congratulations to this person of male origins who got an award on International Women's Day. Congratulations. Yeah. Good for that person. Okay. I don't know what the other is. Oh, here it is. Yes. Joe, here it is. Here's an even video of the presentation. Jill Biden presents an International Women's of Courage Award to a biological male on International Women's Day at the White House.
In Argentina, Alba Ruada is a transgender woman who was kicked out of classrooms, barred for sitting for exams, refused job opportunities, subjected to violence, and rejected by her family. But in the face of these challenges, she worked to end violence and discrimination against the LGBTQI plus community in Argentina.
Okay, well, that's fantastic. Of course, that's the part of the agenda to include males in women's awards, spaces, sports, jails, and other places that are normally reserved for female human beings. Okay, and I noticed I'm not using terminology. Anyway, if Tulsi Gabbard says if we really want to celebrate International Women's Day, the most important thing to do is recognize that women exist and are biologically different from men. Oh my God, this is Tulsi Gabbard. She's going to be getting in trouble for this one. As we as women are not an imaginary construct in someone's mind, unless we speak up about this obvious truth, women will be what? Just a thread? Women will be erased as an entire category of people. And this person says you must be joking. No, I don't think she's joking at all. There are, God. Anyway, that's why International Women's Day is trending, because still, because the women need to be recognized. You know who else is trending today is Stormy Daniels. Stormy Daniels is trending. Now that's because apparently, again, the walls are closing in on the former president, the guy with the funny hair. Trump will likely face criminal charges in New York in Stormy Daniels' case, according to a report. Now, I'm really confused about this. I am really confused what the criminal charges might be. Good morning, Jen T. What's up, my friend? New York prosecutors have signaled to former President Donald Trump that he will likely face criminal charges in a case involving hush money allegedly paid to porn star Stormy Daniels, according to a report. Now, I can't imagine what law he broke here. I'm curious what they're going to come up with. Because the walls must close in. Criminal charges, by the way. Criminal charges. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg. He's one of those attorneys who has high support from he who shall not be named. You know who Voldemort is, right? Has notified attorneys of Trump, 76, and the former commander-in-chief will be given the opportunity to defend himself next week in front of a grand jury hearing evidence in the case before the indictment comes down. Wait a minute. Now, isn't that interesting? He will have the opportunity to defend himself next week in front of a grand jury hearing. In front of the grand jury hearing evidence in the case before the indictment comes down, according to the New York Times. Trump is likely to decline the offer, which is usually only presented to potential defendants when criminal charges are close to being filed, the outlet reports. If he's indicted, Trump will be the first former president in U.S. history to face criminal charges. Bragg has been investigating the Daniels hush money case for the past 5 years. It's taken you 5 years? Oh, I get it. You're about to be dumped as the whatever office you're in there. The case centers on a $130,000 payment made to the porn star during Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Daniels and his former Trump fixer, Michael Cohen, allege that the payment was made to keep her quiet about a 2005 affair she claims to have had with Trump. Okay, and let's say that he did do this. What's the criminal charge? Cohen says he paid Daniels the hush money and Trump later reimbursed him in monthly installments. It's unclear what charges. Here's the one. Here it is. It's unclear what charges Bragg intends to bring against Trump, but the report notes that the prosecutors could accuse the former president of falsifying business records and then elevate that charge to felony by arguing that it was attached to a second crime. Oh, I gotcha. So they're making some shit up. That's interesting. So anyway, okay, if you want to really read that, that's why Stormy Daniels is trending. So why do corrupt Democrats and their shills bring up Stormy Daniels and always leave out the plot of her extortion scheme against Donald Trump was masterminded by convicted felon Michael Avenatti? Yeah, we forgot about Michael Avenatti. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Sponsor the show one more time. I'm driving a nice little spot in the tip jar. Trump up criminal charges. Pun intended. Yes. Very well done. Thank you, sir, for sponsoring the show again. Michael Smirkanish is definitely excited about this. Let's see what this jackhole's saying.
So the New York Times says that it's likely Donald Trump is going to get indicted.
The walls
What's
are
this
closing
case all
in.
about? Well, it's a relatively old case. It's the case that involves the former porn star Stormy Daniels,
yes,
who goes to the National Enquirer in the 2016 campaign, wants to tell her story.
And Donald Trump.
The Enquirer then is run by a guy who's a buddy of Trump, David Pecker, whack. He tips off the Trump campaign. Michael Cohen brokers a deal. She gets paid $130,000.
Okay.
The case goes away, meaning she never gets to tell her story.
What case? That's the problem. Okay, what do you mean the case goes away? So she was going to sell her story to the National Enquirer. Okay. They tipped him off. He offered $130,000 in lieu in a non-disclosure agreement. Look, first of all, what laws were broken if they had, let's say they had this affair, right? Are affairs against the law? I don't think so. And then, so she was going to tell her story to the National Enquirer. She accepted $130,000 to not tell her story. There's not a case. There's a story. She accepted that agreement. Then she breaks the agreement. And she ends up having to pay Trump money for breaking the agreement. What's the crime here? Help me out. Anybody, any lawyers in the house? Any house lawyers or lawyers in the house that could tell me what law she broke here? This is incredible.
So enter Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan DA, who says, potentially there's a felony here. But it's a novel legal theory.
How?
He's got to combine a misdemeanor of falsifying business records with a violation of state election law. I think it's a stretch. And I think it's the worst case of those potential indictments looming out there against Donald Trump. And if the weakest case is brought and fails, it might end up helping Donald Trump. And
that would be a tragedy, right, Michael?
So the New York Times.
That'd be a tragedy, wouldn't it? That's interesting. Okay. Should we move on to the next thing? So that's what Stormy Daniels is trending. Another thing trending, Tucker Carlson is still trending. There's a whole bunch of stuff here. There's one thing here. It's a crime. Tucker asks how no one has been arrested in the coordinated censorship of Americans. So he's talking about the Twitter files. We'll get into that. That was his story last night. And then Julie Kelly, who's been the prolific writer of stories on January 6th. Tucker isn't whitewashing or rewriting January 6th. DOJ's own data supports the description of the Capitol protest as mostly nonviolent. We'll get to that. After all, the most common charge for 1,000 plus defendants is parading. The very violent act of parading and loitering. Broadline, what's happening? The violent act of parading, yes. And James PFE, good morning. Yes, parading is, parading, oh my God. Parading, they're parading. Anyway, we'll come back to that. But Tucker is still trending because of the shit stuff he's been talking about the last couple of days. What is this? What happened here? Oh, I see what I did. I was going to do a chip. Also trending, daylight savings time is trending. So that just a reminder, I don't know, you said you lose an hour of sleep this weekend. I think, is it Saturday night? You set your clocks forward. Now, apparently, is this the last time this happens? Anyways, people are celebrating daylight saving time this weekend. Goodbye seasonal depression. Hello, more sunlight. Yes. And if daylight saving time becomes permanent, we have to wake these kids up 3 hours before sunrise to go to school. Oh, this is someone who's complaining about not making daylight saving times permanent. Because we'll have to wake up kids 3 hours before sunrise to go to school. That's not healthy for them. And then we'll have these groggy children staggering to bus stops in jet black darkness. That's an article. That's an actual article in the Washington Post. But you know what? Couldn't they start school later? That's what the Twitter handle is called. Start School Later Inc. Teenagers need more sleep and permanent daylight savings time. Okay, this is an article in the Washington Post of why not to have earlier continuous daylight savings time. Here's what we know about the future daylight saving time in Time magazine. Okay, I'll just post the article. I'm not going to read it. But anyway, remember to set your clocks this weekend. What else is trending right now? Am I done with trending stuff? Oh, Ray Epps is still trending. Self-explanatory. I have a Twitter trending tab open for that too. And finally, the Twitter files is trending. Now, this is what I wanted to talk about mostly today. Thus, the title of the stream today: Hearing Chaos, Democrat denial. I watched some clips from the hearings yesterday. What is this committee called? I don't know what the committee is called. Real quick. Thank you, Tyler Alexander, for sponsoring the show. Appreciate it. And definitely, Dr. Funkenstein gets some funk. Hang on. Let's try this one. Tyler Alexander dropping a small bullet in the tip jar, known as a 223. Today's show is brought to you by the new CNN show, Deranged, starring Don Lemon, Rachel Maddow, Brian Stelter, and prison yard correspondent Michael Avenatti with Big Bubba. Washed up thought reviews by Stormy Daniels, live at midnight on Sunday. Yeah! The CNN's new show, Deranged. This is CNN. Okay, thank you, Tyler Alexander. Appreciate it, sir. All right, Twitter files trending on Twitter, big time, because there were some hearings yesterday. Now, what's the committee called? There's a name for this committee, and I don't know what it is. Some committee they're talking about the weaponization of federal government agencies against the people of the United States who just want to speak their mind about some stuff. And boy, oh boy, were these hearings nutso yesterday. I mean, I forgot about this one line that came out. Hopefully we'll get to it. But so there's a whole bunch of people tweeting about these hearings yesterday. So we're going to watch a few of these. And I missed this one. I'm going to pause that one because I want to do that one too. Well, let's start with this one. Jim Jordan's hearing exposed leftist congressmen and the Biden administration is fundamentally opposed to free press and First Amendment. Congratulations to Jim Jordan and for the Elon Musk Twitter files hearing today with Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger. Well, let's see. What's this guy's name? Connolly? Let's start with this one. We're just going to watch a few of these because it's illuminating. We're listening to Democrats bitch about the Twitter files. They don't like it so look, for the most part, the Twitter files exposed the suppression of the Biden laptop story by Twitter, and mostly at the behest of government entities. Now, not necessarily the federal government that censored it, but Twitter censored it after being primed and groomed by federal agencies, including the FBI, right? So the hearings yesterday was a lot about that, and the Democrats kind of showed their ass a lot during these hearings, and I don't mean literally because that would be quite disgusting, but they you could tell that they were shills against these two. Remember, Schellenberger and Taibbi, who are the journalists that they had in front of the panel yesterday, are liberals. Like, they're left, they're Biden voters. They don't vote for Republicans. However, they see the dangers of the way the federal government agencies, they're all dipping their fingers and noses and whatever other, extremities into the business of the social media companies and telling them, well, we think you should probably here's some suggested people you should take down. Here's some suggested tweets you should take down. Why? And look, the argument that the Democrats has is, well, not a single federal agency or the FBI or the CIA, none of them demanded that you take these things down, right? Okay, let's think about that. So you run a company and someone from the FBI says, hey, here's a list of some things that we think that you should stop doing. Say what? Here's a list of some things we think you should stop doing. We're from the FBI. Okay. Now, I'm going to stop there. Most people should tell them to fuck right off. Okay. And look, when I say stop doing, I mean, here's a list. So they come to a social media company, says, look, these are some people who we think you should take this down. Now, remember, a lot of it they would claim as misinformation. As we read the articles the last couple of days, misinformation, disinformation. But some of it was known as malinformation, which is not untrue information. For example, they were saying that they were asking them to take down things that were true about the stupid 19, but still could cause vaccine hesitancy, for example. But they were true. Oh, you mean so? But so you want us to censor people who have said things that are true? Okay, why? And so anyway, but remember, it's the FBI. It's the National Institute of Health. These are agencies telling you these are things that we think you should have taken down. Now you're thinking to yourself, okay, I have this company, because it's a nice company you have there. It'd be terrible if anything happened to it, right? That's what you got to start thinking in your head. You're going, man, these government agencies are coming down on us. So the idea that it wasn't the government agencies who demanded that you take down any tweets or whatever is bullshit. But let's listen to some of these Democrats who who are panicking and also causing chaos at this hearing. So let's start here.
The government has been organized to weaponize against conservative voices. And, of course, what you've just indicated in your testimony is, well, actually, that's not the evidence you found.
No, I think this committee, my understanding is that they're concerned about the weaponization of the government against free speech, which is certainly what we're finding.
Thank you. My time has expired, but I appreciate your understanding of our committee. I have a different understanding. I yield back.
Well, you got the wrong understanding. Last week in the full Judiciary Committee hearing, I introduced into the record a story of a left-wing journalist who said that talked about the FBI putting a paid informant, a felon, in the Black Lives Matter movement in Denver. I want to focus on the First Amendment, just like protecting the First Amendment, just like these guys
Point of order, Mr. Chair. Are you going to respond after every?
No, I'm taking my 5 minutes.
This is
I
your.
can take my 5 minutes.
It's your 5 minutes now.
I can take my 5 minutes when I want to, and I'm taking my 5 minutes.
Okay,
now.
great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I would ask for an additional few seconds for being interrupted by the ranking member.
By the way, the ranking member is I would say, pseudo-delegate from the U.S. Virgin Islands. The ranking member in this committee is someone who doesn't have a vote in the United States Congress. That's crazy.
But the truth is we want to focus on protecting the First Amendment. Mr. Schellenberger, are you a Republican?
No, I'm not.
You got any pro-Trump bumper stickers on your car?
I voted for Biden.
Voted for Biden. You don't have any MAGA hats laying around your house, right?
I do not.
Yeah, but you said earlier, both
you
and Mr. Taibbi said this is the most chilling thing you have ever seen as journalists. Mr. Taibbi, the same thing. You're not a Republican either, right?
No, I'm not.
You didn't vote for. I mean, like, This is about protecting the First Amendment. Mr. Taibbi, I want to read from your Twitter file number 9. You say this: after weeks of Twitter files, the Bureau issued a statement Wednesday, referring to the FBI. Here's what the FBI said: it is unfortunate that conspiracy theorists and others are feeding the American public misinformation with the sole purpose of attempting to discredit the agency. You then follow up, and this is why I think you're an award-winning author, you then follow up, they must think we're unambitious if our sole aim is to discredit the FBI. After all, a whole range of government agencies discredit themselves in the Twitter files. And then you go on to, in this particular Twitter file, to talk about what Mr. Bishop was just talking about, the GEC at the State Department. You talk about the CIA. You talk about the DOD. You talk about the FBI. You talk about the DHS. You talk about the Foreign Intelligence Task Force, which is a combination of all these. But there was one agency you didn't mention, because you didn't know at the time. One agency, you got almost the whole alphabet, but you didn't mention one agency.
FTC?
FTC.
Who now is demanding.
You know about them?
Remember the article yesterday, the FTC has given a demand letter to Twitter demanding that they reveal all the journalists that they gave information to and this and that. I mean, it's almost embarrassing that a federal agency is basically demanding the names of journalists. I think every journalist in America should be just off their rocker mad about that, regardless of if you like the journalists that they're talking about or not. But it's weird because some are in support of this. It's amazing.
Now,
yes, we
know about them now in an up-close and personal way. You didn't know then, but you do know now. December 2nd, as I said earlier, December 2nd, the first Twitter file comes out, Mr. Taibbi. And I think there are 5 others, including the ones from Mr. Schellenberger. December 13th, the very first letter that the FTC sends to Twitter after the Twitter files, 11 days after the first Twitter file. There have been 5 of them come out. The FTC's first demand in that first letter after the Twitter files come out is identify all journalists, I'm quoting, identify all journalists and other members of the media to whom Twitter worked with. Find that scary, Mr. Taibbi?
I want to know. Okay, if they want to know that, maybe they should give them a list of all the journalists that Twitter worked with before Elon Musk took it over. And I'd like all the every government agency to reveal all of the journalists that they use to disseminate their propaganda. That's what I want to know. I'm much more interested in that.
A federal government.
Oh, good morning, fake news expert, and not only am I much more interested in that, because they're the government.
Agency asking a private company, who in the press are you talking with?
Yeah, I do find it scary. I think it's.
And none of these Democrats, all these Democrats think is okay. Wait to hear Debbie Wasserman Schultz.
Why? I think every journalist should be concerned about that, and the absence of interest in that issue by my fellow colleagues in the mainstream media is an indication of how low the business has sunk. There was once a real esprit de corps and camaraderie within media. Whenever one of us was gone after, we all kind of rose to the challenge and supported.
Used to be.
Yeah,
used to be the case.
That is gone now. We don't protect.
Maybe that esprit de corps was a little too far too. You know, it's like, oh, you mean, although he means that even journalists that they don't like would all fight for each other when it came to the First Amendment, and it's kind of a little different now. Have you noticed how most of the media isn't on Tucker's side for his report?
You know what else used to happen? Democrats used to care about protecting First Amendment free speech rights, too. Now it's like, okay, if you're attacking, and I said this on the House floor, I said, don't think they won't come for you. Oh, the big tech, big media, cancel culture, they may come for Republicans and conservatives now, but the mob is never satisfied. They will keep coming. Mr. Schellenberger, you know who the chair of the FTC is?
Not personally.
Lena Khan. Lena Khan. You know who she...
Khan!
My understanding is the Judiciary Committee?
Yeah, she's worked with these folks. The same folks have been attacking you today. Same folks. Chair of the FTC. Worked for them. Here's what they said. Here's what she said in a letter where they ask about who these journalists... Again, they named 4 journalists by name. You were 2 of the 4. As I said before, I think it's frankly courageous and brave of you to show up today when you know the federal government's got an eye on you personally. Here's what they asked for in that letter. Any credentialing or background check Twitter has done on journalists. Now think about that.
I missed that part.
The federal government
Okay.
is saying we want you to do a background check on members of the press. Freedom of the press mentioned in the First Amendment, and they're doing they want Twitter to do a background check on you before they can talk to you in America.
They should be able to talk to anybody. Hell, look. And there is no credentialing for journalists, okay? I'm a journalist. By doing what I do, I disseminate news, give opinion every day, bring articles to those of you who want to watch this stuff, that all, 30 or 40 a day that come in here. I'm a journalist because I am reporting stories things that happen in our world. That's all it has to be a journalist. I don't have a journalism degree. I have a my degree is in communication, speech writing, whatever. And if they gave the Twitter files to me, it doesn't matter. There's no credentialing for journalists.
By Lena Khan, who used to work for these guys, is asking that question. Now we know. Now we all know why. You guys said at the outset, this is the most chilling story. And you guys are New York Times bestsellers, award-winning journalists. But in all your time in the journalism field, this issue, most important. And how this, I think, what'd you call it, Mr. Schellenberg, this complex, what'd you call it, the
censorship industrial complex.
Totally, this web of censorship, big government, big tech, NGOs, all this web of censorship that Mr. Bishop was getting into in his line of questioning. That's what this committee is going to get to. And that's not right or left. That's not, this is just right or wrong. This is wrong. We know it's wrong, and it's about protecting the First Amendment.
Has been organized to weaponize.
But not so fast, because some of the Democrats have a little bit of different opinions. So let's watch a couple of these. And the first one will be everyone's favorite. Oh, I was going to call her a trout or a fish face or something like that. But anyway, here's Debbie Wasserman.
Great point. And now recognize the gentlelady from Florida for 5 minutes.
Listen to this. Listen to
Thank
her.
You, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Taibbi,
accusations.
I want to ask about journalistic ethics and information sources. The Society of Professional Journalists Code of Ethics asserts that journalists should avoid political activities that can compromise integrity or credibility.
What? Debbie Wasserman Schultz, former chairman of the DNC, is worried about journalists who are part of political activities when she's known for feeding journalists stories, some not necessarily true.
Being a Republican witness today certainly casts a cloud over your objectivity.
Oh, wait a minute. Being a Republican witness, being a witness that the Republicans brought to this committee on the weaponization of the federal government. Wait a minute. So you call a journalist as a witness, and that means because the Republicans called them, that's unethical? What the hell are you talking about? Has there never been journalists called by Democrats? Holy shit. Hello. Thank you, Trash and Truth, for subscribing. Greatly appreciated. Welcome to the channel.
But a deeper concern that I have relates to the ethics of how journalists receive and present certain information.
Oh, you mean
journalists
sources?
should avoid accepting spoon-fed, cherry-picked information if it's likely to be slanted.
Spoon-fed, cherry-picked? Didn't they give all access?
Designed to reach a foregone, easily disputed, or invalid conclusion. Would you agree with that?
That's a loaded question. Interesting. Let's see. What did she just ask? Like, what was the question?
Deeper concern that I have relates to the ethics of how journalists receive and present certain information. Journalists should avoid accepting spoon-fed, cherry-picked information if it's likely to be slanted, incomplete, or designed to reach a foregone, easily disputed, or invalid conclusion.
That's an opinion. Everything she says is an opinion, making it sound like that's what they're doing. Really? Is that what you mean? Yes, projection. Exactly.
Do you agree
Jen.
with that?
I think it depends.
Really? You wouldn't agree that a journalist should avoid spoon-fed, cherry-picked information if it's likely to be slanted, incomplete, or designed to reach a foregone, easily disputed, or invalid conclusion?
Oh, you mean like, let's see, the Covington kids? Really?
Congresswoman, I've done probably a dozen stories involving whistleblowers. Every reported story that I've ever done across 3 decades involves sources who have motives. Every time you do a story, you're making a
good answer, Matt.
Between the public
reclaiming
interest.
my time. Thank you very much. Okay. I ask you this because before you became...
See, I don't like the answer, so reclaiming my time.
Elon Musk's hand-picked journalist, and pardon the oxymoron, you stated this...
Oh, damn. Did you hear what she said there? Called them Elon Musk hand-picked journalists. Pardon the oxymoron. So she's saying they're not journalists, huh?
On Joe Rogan's podcast about being spoon-fed information, and I quote, "I think that's true of any kind of journalism," and you'll see it behind me here. "I think that's true of any kind of journalism. Once you start getting handed things, then you've lost. They have you at that point, and you got to get out of that habit. You just can't cross that line. Do you still believe what you told Mr. Rogan? Yes or no? Yes or no?"
Yes.
Good. Now, you crossed that line with the Twitter files.
No.
Elon Musk, it's my time. Please do not interrupt me. Elon Musk spoon-fed you his cherry-picked information, which you must have suspected promotes a slanted viewpoint, or at the very least generates another.
So she's here to make a speech.
You violated your own standard, and you appear to have benefited from it. Before the release of emails in August of last year, you had 661,000 Twitter followers. After the Twitter files, your followers doubled, and now it's 3 times what it was last August. I imagine your Substack readership, which is a subscription, increased significantly because of the work that you did for Elon Musk.
And?
Now, I'm not asking you to put a dollar figure on it, but it's quite obvious
and what's your
that
point?
you profited from the Twitter files. You hit the jackpot on that Vegas slot machine to which you referred. That's true, isn't it?
I've also reinvested.
You've made some. No. Is it true that you have profited since you were the recipient of the Twitter files? You've made money.
And
yes or no?
Is money bad?
I think it's probably a wash, honestly.
No, you have made money that you did not have before, correct?
But I've also spent money that I didn't have before. I just hired a whole group of people to
patently obvious answer, reclaiming my time.
Oh.
Attention is a powerful drug. Eyeballs, money, prominence, attention, all of it points to problems with accuracy and credibility. And the larger point, which is social media companies are not biased against conservatives, and if anything, they ignored their own policies by allowing Trump and other MAGA extremists to post incessant lies, endangering public safety and even our democracy. Hypocrisy.
Wait. It's a danger to our democracy. Oh, no.
Is the hangover of an addiction to attention. Now, I want to point out another alleged
This is wild. She's not asking questions, is she?
You've referenced several times this $3.4 million that the FBI paid to Twitter in 2020 that was referenced in General Counsel Jim Baker's email. I first want to confirm that nowhere in the email does Baker say that the money was paid to censor information, take down posts.
Oh, yes. See, the memo on the check for $3.4 million should have said this is for censoring posts and taking down people's tweets. Oh, that's what it should have said. But since it didn't say that, this was not a payoff.
Or do anything to relating to content moderation. Is that correct?
It is.
Thank you.
Oh,
but honest reporting would have explained that the $3.4 million was paid to release information, not censor it. One of my colleagues on this panel repeated your distortions and told Americans this reimbursement was used to, quote, censor certain stories. That's a flat-out lie. Mr. Schellenberger, are you aware of Section 2706 under the Stored Communications Act? It says when social media companies comply with subpoenas,
wait, she asked a question but didn't let him answer.
It costs them money, so they get reimbursed. The FBI makes these requests and reimbursements to discover evidence and run relevant to a criminal investigation.
Except there were no criminal investigations.
The FBI makes these requests to help catch the bad guys. That helps keep child predators off social media sites.
This was not
an
investigation.
And our law enforcement agencies. It would be nice if our Republican colleagues did the same and not fabricate explanations for payments that are defined for clear purposes in federal law. My time is just about wrapped up.
May I respond?
The truth is that social media companies are unregulated
She asked a question.
They pose danger to individuals. They allow posts that bring harm, and that's the bottom line.
Wait, did she say? Wait a minute. Did she just say illegal
My time is
speech?
just about wrapped up.
May I respond?
The truth is that social media companies are unregulated monoliths. They pose danger to individuals. They allow posts that bring harm, and that's the bottom line.
Oh, so she's against people's posting things. Speech brings harm. There's illegal speech. She said somewhere in illegal speech.
The other side will not tell you. I yield back the balance of my time.
Generally had no time to yield back, but I will let the gentleman, Mr. Schellenberger, respond. And I would also point out that I did not say what the FBI paid Twitter for. All I said was they paid Twitter $3.4 million.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. I didn't ask Mr. Schellenberger a question.
Doesn't matter.
The witness wants to respond, and the witness have been invited our guests, and frankly, they've been attacked by the federal government.
Well, please do that.
I'm going to let Mr. Schellenberger answer that before recognizing Mr. Bishop.
So are you going to do that as we move down the line of questioners?
The gentlelady has not been recognized. You had your 5 minutes, and frankly, I think that's at the discretion of the chair. Mr. Schellenberger, you can respond briefly.
I'll be brief, which is that my understanding from those files is that Twitter had decided not to take that money until recently. So if you read that email, what Stasha, I believe, the person that sent it, is saying is that they started taking money after previously not taking it. And I believe that the reason that they had not taken it earlier was because they did not want that financial conflict clouding their relationship.
Mr. Chairman, the money is payment under federal law so that they can
The gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Bishop, is recognized.
Okay, so she basically came into the grandstand. So there's a denial, and there's a concerted effort. If you watch the rest of these, I'm not going to play all of them, by the Democrats to they're not happy about this because the government that's helping them is being exposed. Now, let's we'll do one more, and this is Sylvia Garcia. She's the ranking member on the committee from the U.S. Virgin Islands. She's not even a voting member of the United States Congress, but she is the ranking member of this committee, and here she is.
Mr. Speaker, I get that last time. I apologize.
Oh, no, that's different. I'm sorry. This is, I'm sorry. Sylvia is from, this is not the ranking member. This is another.
Mr. Taibbi, I want to follow up a little bit on the ranking member's questions. When was the first time that Mr. Musk approached you about writing the Twitter files?
Again, Congresswoman, that would...
I just need a date, sir.
No, you don't. Why do you need a date? Why do you need a date?
It's a question of sourcing, and I don't give up. I'm a journalist. I don't reveal my sources.
It's a question of chronology.
No, that's a question of sourcing.
Because you earlier said that someone had sent you through the internet some message about whether or not you would be interested in some information.
Yes, and I refer to that person as a source.
So you're not going to tell us when Musk first approached you?
Why is it important?
Again, Congressman, you're asking me you're asking a journalist to reveal a source.
So then you consider Mr. Musk to be the direct source of all this?
No, now you're trying to get me to say that he is the source. I just can't answer your question.
Well, he isn't. If you're telling me you can't answer because it's your source, well, then the only logical conclusion is that he is,
well, then you make whatever conclusion you want.
You're free to conclude that.
Well, sir, I just don't understand. You can't have it both ways, but let's move on because
no, he can. He's a journalist.
No, he can't because either Musk is the source and he can't talk about it, or Musk is not the source. And if Musk is not the source, then he can discuss.
No one has yielded. The gentlelady's out of order. You don't get to speak.
She's out of order because he's interrupted.
So this is the chaos I was talking about.
He has not said that. What he has said is he's not going to reveal his source, and the fact that Democrats are pressuring him to do so is such a violation.
We're asking him about his conversations with Musk.
The gentlelady has not yielded you time. You don't get
I have not yielded time to anybody. I want to reclaim my time, and I would ask the chairman to give me back some of the time because of the interruption.
You can get 10 seconds.
Mr. Chairman, I am asking you if you will give me the seconds that I lost.
We will give you that 10 seconds.
Thank you. Now, let's talk about another item that when you responded to the ranking member. You said that you had free license to look at everything, but yet you yourself posted on your I guess it's kind of like a web page. I don't quite understand what Substack is, but...
So you come into a hearing where you're going to reference something called Substack, and you don't try to figure out what it is. Oh my God, woman. Come on.
And
y'all call me boomer? Come on, man.
Come on, man.
What I can say is that in exchange for the
Are you
opportunity
sure?
to cover a unique and explosive story, I had to agree to certain conditions. What were those conditions? She asked you that question, and you said you had none, but you yourself posted to
yes,
conditions.
No, the conditions, as I've explained multiple times.
No, sir, you've not explained. You told her in response to her question that you had no conditions. In fact, you kind of used the word license, that you were free to look at all of them, all 100,000 emails.
The question was posed, was I free to write about?
Sir, did you have any conditions?
The condition was that we published
Sir,
on
did you
Twitter.
have any conditions, yes or no? A simple question.
Yes.
All right, could you tell us what conditions those were?
The conditions were an attribution, sources at Twitter, and that we break any news on Twitter.
But you didn't break it on Twitter. Did you send the file that you released today to Twitter
Yes, they
first?
did. That's all they've been doing.
Did I send the?
Sir,
actually,
I'm
I
asking
did.
you
Yes.
today.
Yeah.
Did you send it to Twitter first?
Yes.
The Twitter
That was
file
one of the
thread?
conditions.
It was
yes
on.
or no, sir?
It was posted
Twitter
at
file
5
thread
a.m.
actually
yesterday
did come up
morning.
first.
But sir, you said earlier that you had to attribute all the sources to Twitter first. What you released today, did you send that to Twitter first?
No. I posted it on Twitter.
First.
Oh,
First, sir.
Oh,
Did
do you hear the guy next to her coaching her? That's a no-no in congressional hearings.
But to the ranking member, to the chairman of the committee or the staff of the committee first.
Well, that's not breaking the story. That's giving. Yes, I did give.
So you gave all the information that you did not give to the Democrats. You gave it to the Republicans first.
You gave it to the
Then you
committee,
put it
you
on Twitter.
moron.
Actually, no. The chronology is a little bit confused.
Well, then,
It's more or
tell
less
us
the
what the
same time.
chronology was.
I believe the thread came out first
Where?
on Twitter.
On Twitter. So
And
then
that
you
guy's still coaching
afterwards
her.
gave it to the Republicans and not the Democrats.
Yes, because I'm submitting it for the record as my statement.
Did you give it to them in advance?
I gave it to them today.
You gave it to them today, but you still have not given anything to the Democrats.
You gave it to the
then I'll
committee,
move
you
on, and I
moron.
wanted
You're
to
looking
ask,
at it.
Mr.
Oh, my God.
Schellenberger, the same question, sir. When did you first visit with or get contacted by Mr. Musk?
I'm not going to reveal my sources, but like I said, I was invited by Barry Weiss.
I'm not asking for sources, sir. I'm just asking for chronology. When did you first make contact with Mr. Musk?
I don't know the exact date.
When did you stop beating your wife?
Was it
It was December. It was December.
December of, well, there's a lot of Decembers in history.
December of
sir.
last year.
Which December?
Bitch, please. What December? This most recent December. It wasn't it December 2021. No one was talking about the Twitter files in 2021. Elon Musk didn't own Twitter in 2021. Are you serious, woman?
December of last year, ma'am.
Last year, the 2022?
Yes.
All right. Now, in your discussion, in your answer, you also said that you were
Oh my God.
invited by a friend, Barry Weiss.
My friend Barry Weiss.
So this friend works for Twitter, or what is her?
Okay, this is a woman absolutely not prepared for this committee.
She's a journalist.
Sir, I didn't ask you a question. I'm now asking Mr. Schellenberger a question. Please
Yes,
do
ma'am.
not
Barry Weiss
interrupt.
is a journalist.
I'm sorry, sir?
She's a journalist.
She's a journalist. So you work in concert with her?
Yeah.
Do you know when she first was contacted by Mr. Musk?
I don't know.
You don't know. So you're in this as a threesome?
Let me try that one again.
You're in this as a threesome?
There was many more people involved.
Hold it. What point? Where is that?
There was many.
Was contacted by Mr. Musk?
I don't know.
You don't know.
Wait a minute.
And
Hold
you're
on.
in this.
Hang on. No. I need. I need a clip. Hang on. Sorry, guys. I have to do this. I'm sorry. I know you hate me.
Do you know when she first was contacted by Mr. Musk?
I don't know.
You don't know. So you're in this as a threesome?
There was many more people involved in that.
There was many more people involved with it. Are you being paid to be here today?
Okay.
Your consulting fees?
Are you being paid to be here? By who?
Absolutely.
Do you have an interview scheduled after this hearing?
Expired.
Absolutely not.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
Thank you.
You can't be embarrassed.
I don't know what to say other than I'll recognize the gentleman from North Dakota for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. So anyway, Boomer Tech coming right up. Holy shit. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have several of these queued up or linked in the description if you want to watch some of these hearings. Some of the Republicans asking questions and actually getting real answers and shit. But let me go through a brief synopsis of other things. Excuse me, things that we have about this. So, in the Daily Caller, is this yesterday or this morning? This was yesterday afternoon. Twitter Files hearing descends into anarchy as Dems push journalists to reveal his sources. So that was Sylvia Garcia from Texas, which we just saw. Also, disturbing event. Michael Schellenberger describes his censorship industrial complex created with taxpayer funds. That's in the Twitter Files. We read that all yesterday, but he went on Tucker Carlson and described it a little more in that line. So you can watch that clip too. In the Federalist, Democrats desperate to implement censorship regime, disregard free speech in weaponization hearing. So this is the let's see, what's it called? The Democrats revealed their clear disregard for free speech in the second hearing of the Select Committee on the Weaponization of the Federal Government Thursday that featured prominent journalists who published the Twitter Files. Substack reporters Matt Taibbi and Michael Schellenberger testified in the nearly 3-hour hearing and explained how the federal government uses major social media platforms as conduits to regulate speech through censorship. Both voted for President Biden and possess decades of experience covering American politics with liberal backgrounds far from anything that could be considered ultra mega. But so anyway, there's a whole article in the Federalist and I think it has quite a few clips in it too. Here's just a clip from the ranking member.
Did Mr. Musk contact you, Mr. Taibbi?
Again, the attribution from my story is sources.
Her also
Mr.
asking
Schellenberger, did Mr. Musk
also
contact
asking
you?
for sources.
Actually, no. I was brought in by my friend Barry Weiss, and so this story.
So he had the same answers.
So Mr. Weiss brought you in.
So she says, so Mr. Weiss brought you in. This is the representative from the U.S. Virgin Islands. Okay, she didn't do her research either. Did you hear what she just said?
Was brought in by my friend Barry Weiss, and so this story, there's been a lot of misinformation.
So Mr. Weiss brought you in. Mr. Taibbi, Ms. Weiss, thank you. Mr. Taibbi, have you had conversations with Elon Musk?
I have.
Okay. Mr. Taibbi, did Mr. Musk place any conditions on the as long as my time is not used?
Are you trying to get journalists?
No, I'm not trying to get.
Sources?
No, I'm not.
Well,
I am asking.
Like
no.
Anyway, so there's a whole lot of that going on. All right, so that's the Federalist. And then, and here's now about this. Let's move on to the January 6th stuff because, we talked about there's 47,000 hours of footage that Tucker Carlson has access to now, and he's done a couple reports on it. Well, the committee of the January 6th committee, now get this. This is amazing. The committee chair of the January 6th committee, Benny Thompson. Think about this. We've known for over 2 years that the January 6th Select Committee never cared about the facts. They had a narrative they wanted to present, and that was the only thing they were going to let people see. Remember that footage of the QAnon shaman being guided through the Capitol? His lawyers never even had access to that footage before. You can bet his 4-year sentence will be appealed in light of this new evidence. Another disturbing revelation, however, comes from none other than Representative Benny Thompson, Democrat from Mississippi, the chair of the January 6th committee, who admitted that he never even reviewed any footage before it was shown to the public. I'm not actually aware of any member of the committee who had access to the footage. We had a team of employees who kind of went through the video, he said. So here it is. Here's the tweets that said it. Green told me that she doesn't know who all is in the room or if the U.S. Capitol Police will be there, but said there's instructions her team has been given, including how to view the videos, obviously, because there's so many hours. Benny Thompson, former chair of the January 6th committee, said lawmakers were never given this type of access to the footage last Congress. It's strictly a new policy that the new speaker has put in place. So they didn't see any of the footage. Former chair said lawmakers were never given that type of access to the footage last Congress. Strictly policy. Thompson said he doesn't think any of the January 6th members themselves ever had access to the footage. They let only staff view it. I'm actually not aware of any member of the committee who had access. We had a team of employees who kind of went through it. So basically they said, oh, hey, employees, go find the worst shit you can find and just give us that because we don't need to see any of the rest of this mess. So anyway, Benny Thompson had never seen that footage before. In legal insurrection, Tucker Carlson's ratings skyrocketed with the airing of the January 6th video footage. Fox Primetime doubled MSNBC's average of 1.49 million total viewers and brought in more than 6 times the viewers of This is CNN. Fox News Primetime, over 3 million average viewers on Tuesday night. Very strong prime time numbers was anchored by Tucker Carlson, who brought in 4.14 million viewers on his show. That was a ratings bonanza for Tucker Carlson. In PJ Media, 3 reasons why liberals will never believe that the January 6th was the definition of a mostly peaceful protest. Because of the narrative, because of Antifa and BLM, and because never Trump. Now, they go into more detail in this article by Kevin Downey. It's a great article. You might check it out. In the Washington Free Beacon, the FTC hired an anti-Musk activist amid the agency's investigation of Twitter. New hire Sarah Miller highlights close relationship between the FTC and the left-wing advocacy groups that objected to Musk's Twitter takeover. Oh, isn't that convenient? And an antitrust activist who lobbied for the federal investigations of Elon Musk is now joining the Federal Trade Commission. Oh, what good timing is that? As a special advisor, as the agency ramps up its probe into Twitter's security practices under Musk. Really? Because it was security practices before Musk. But anyway, hi, Robert Banks. How you doing? Sarah Miller, founder of the American Economic Liberties Project, will serve as special advisor to FTC Chair Linda Khan, spelled K-H-A, not spelled C-O-N, although it should be, a Biden appointee whom Republicans have accused of weaponizing the agency. Oh, really? I just can't imagine any government agencies being weaponized against enemies of Joe Biden. Anyway, Miller called for the Federal Communications Commission and the U.S. Committee on Foreign Investments to investigate Musk's purchase of Twitter in October, saying his business ties to China were concerning.
China is asshole.
The hiring move follows reports that the FTC is seeking to depose Musk and obtain records of the company's correspondence with journalists. Hi, Data Wasteland. And as a part of the probe in recent layoffs and data protection policies at Twitter. Actually, it's just you are a danger to Democrats, so we're going to start investigating you because that's what the current administration does. And then I have 3 stories that kind of give you an idea how things are going in this land. Police are not going to press charges against students who allegedly had chased and assaulted conservatives. Okay, so the Young American Foundation at the University of Buffalo chapter hosted a former Republican Florida Representative Alan West to speak on campus during the spring 2022 semester, after which 3 group members were chased across campus by a swarm of 50 to 100 people. The student newspaper, The Spectator, reported. The police have since investigated reports that the 3 students had been harassed for months by conducting interviews and reviewing security cameras, but cannot identify the responsible individuals. Oh, how convenient. So anyway, no one's going to be charged in harassing or assaulting these students, and there were video evidence of assault, right? Now, let's go move to this. At the University of Connecticut, even universities that proclaim their commitment to free speech do not protect it. Last week, the student chapter of Turning Point USA at Central Connecticut State University attempted to show on campus a film, The Greatest Lie Ever Told, Greatest Lie Ever Sold, George Floyd and the Rise of BLM, produced by the Daily Wire and Candace Owen. 15 minutes into the film, before an audience of approximately 50 students and others intrigued by the title of the film and curious about its contents, roughly the same number of students, at least one faculty member, and possibly others unaffiliated with the university, stormed onto the stage screaming that the film was racist and holding signs proclaiming it hate speech. By doing so, they prevented the audience from watching it. To his credit, Dr. Craig Wright, CCSU's Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, implored the protesters to disperse and continue their protest outside. Reluctantly, they did so, but by beating drums and screeching like banshees, the protesters made it impossible for the audience inside to hear the movie. So the protesters won, and no one's going to get in trouble for that. Now, but in Atlanta, there's the little forest protectors that are protecting the forest from Cop City. Well, they arrested a bunch of those, and now they're descending on the jail. Drop all charges. Blazing chaos breaks out during protests outside jail housing alleged domestic terrorists. People inside the Georgia DeKalb County Jail broke windows and lit objects on fire during a Wednesday evening protest decrying domestic terrorism charges levied against more than 20 people after a violent demonstration at a nearby police training center construction site, according to the media. 23 people charged with domestic terrorists, or were charged with domestic terrorism following the destructive Sunday protest at the forest site of the planned training center, unofficially dubbed Cop City. So they want all the charges dropped. Demonstrators outside projected statements, including "Stop Cop City," "Drop all charges," and "Forest defense is self-defense" on the building of Fox 5 in Atlanta. And also, by the way, there was an SPLC lawyer who got arrested in that bunch too. The SPLC said Monday that Juergens, what's his name? Something Juergens. I can't find his name, but anyways, the last name Juergens was acting as a legal observer to the National Lawyers Guild behalf when he was arrested, arguing his arrest was evidence of heavy-handed law enforcement intervention against protesters and not of a crime. Prior to the incident, 19 people had already been charged with domestic terrorism in December for alleged conduct in opposition to the police training center, according to the AJC. Protesters raged violently in Atlanta the weekend after left-wing activist Manuel Terran was fatally shot on January 18th in the area of the police training center site, the outlet reported. So you know what? I'm going to guess that charge is going to be dropped on a lot of those people. Apparently what is this? Tim Pool's Bandcamp Bandcamp. Isn't that a music service, internet music service? Hello, Shrapnel. Apparently they've yanked Tim Pool's music without explanation, and Pool is determining if he's going to take some legal action. Journalist and musician Tim Pool announced Tuesday that he had his music yanked from online audio distribution platform Bandcamp without explanation. Poole told the Post-Millennial 3 of his songs were pulled from Bandcamp, and he's yet to receive an explanation. The journalist floated the idea of a class action lawsuit from fans who paid for his music and no longer have access to it on the platform. Hey, look, our Bandcamp account is still gone, and they've never responded as to why. The music platform has also apparently leveled a ban on 5 times August. A band featuring singer and songwriter Brian Skismus. An account for the 5 times August on Wednesday suggested the band could be political because they're not. They have the wrong politics, and Bandcamp can't have the wrong politics in songs. You can't have artists making music about the fascists and Nazis and all this other stuff. See, so that's how they do. CNN's credibility crash continues with 71% collapse in primetime viewers. Oh, I don't need to read that. Fuck them. 3 police officers shot in Los Angeles, and it didn't make the front page of the LA Times. But look what does. So 3 officers were shot in LA, right? Didn't make the front page. What was on the front page? Suspect arrested in fatal stabbing of teen. Desperate fight to stay in her home. No pigment of your imagination. Earthy car colors are cool. Feds find biased policing in Louisville. 12 have died in mountain towns since snowstorms. 3 cops shot. That makes it back in the California sections about 8 to 10 pages back. B1. B1. LAPD officer shot in Lincoln Heights. Now, look. When police do stupid shit, I expect it to be on the front page. When police get shot, I expect it to be on the front page. I'm not for or against the police. They have a job to do. And if they do it correctly, I'll support them. If they're fuck-ups, I will tell them to kick rocks. But I think it's newsworthy when 3 police officers get shot. And why it's not on the front page, I don't know. The earthy car colors that are cool is more important than 3 police officers getting shot. A desperate fight for one woman to stay in her home, that probably would make the B1 section. I don't know. In American Greatness, Julie Kelly has another story about a handy January 6th fact sheet. If you want to go through some of the facts, she lists a bunch of them here. It's a good link. And then I also have Gunfox's links that he sent me earlier. And that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all have a great weekend. I'm looking forward to the granddaughter's birthday party, which we're doing on Sunday. Thank you all for joining me today on the Morning Live. 49 people here. Goodness gracious, there's a whole lot of people here. That's fantastic. A bunch of people on Rumble too. 23 watching on Rumble. That's awesome. That's a good day on this show. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't already done so, now I always say hit the like button. Yes, please do that because there's 49 people here and only 30 likes. There should be 49 likes at least, maybe even more because some people came and left. But do that before you go. But also, if every single one of you went out and shared this stream on social media with somebody you love, or somebody you don't love, or somebody you want to love, or just some random folks on the internet, I would greatly appreciate it. That helps the show grow. And we'd have 48, 49, 80, 90, have more people to talk to. But thank you very much. And also, you can sponsor the show. Dawg.Live, 24 hours a day. Your message will be read on the show. Today's superstar sponsor today is... that'd be Gunfox61, but also thank you, Chicago Mike and Tyre Alexander, for participating in what is known as Keep Marty his soup fund, up there so he can buy more soup. And gifts for the baby. My baby granddaughter is going to be a year old on Sunday. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for being here. I got to go. I'll update the links in the link in just a moment, and you'll have that in the description down below. Thank you for being here. My name is Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great weekend. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm Dawg Knight, and I'm out of here.